Now, the Indian car buyer's love affair with CNG has been an old one. Automatics, that's a rather shorter story, but a combination of the two is what we have for you today. For the first time in India, Tata Motors is offering two cars that have an automatic CNG combination on board, and they are the Tigor iCNG AMT, which I have standing right next to me, and also the Tiago iCNG AMT. Now, we're going to be driving this Tigor and find out what this new powertrain combination is like to drive and how does it change the driving experience. Hi, my name is Dhruv Paliwal. You're watching autoX. Let's get started.
No contest.
What's really changed on the outside of the Tigor CNG AMT? Not really a lot or anything for that matter. It continues to look the same. A longish bonnet, a short stubby boot and a roofline that sharply flows down at the rear. Looks quite handsome, to be honest. The only way you'll know this is an iCNG is the iCNG badge on the back. There's not even a marking for whether it's an AMT or a manual. So that's that. Now, how is the Tigor's iCNG AMT different on the inside? And once again, the story is the same as the outside. And that means there's not really a lot of changes going on here. Good looking cabin, decent use of hard plastics, but they don't really stand out. The beige really stands out and it adds a sense of airiness to the cabin. The one change you will notice is that there is now a fire extinguisher right in front of the passenger seat, but that is a safety regulation. It's a little oddly positioned, to be honest, but I mean, this is one of those things that you really can't get away with. So you do need to have a fire extinguisher inside a CNG car right from the factory. So that is the one change you will notice over the regular Tigor. In terms of the center console, there's not really a lot that's changed. You've got the CNG button over here now to switch over from petrol to CNG or vice versa. And I also like this really neat touch. Type C USB charging port over here next to the regular Type A port, and it says it's a 15-watt charging port. So that means you can fast charge your smartphone using a Type C cable, which I think is a really neat touch. And with that, let's see what the Tiago iCNG AMT is like to drive. And with that, we come to the elephant in the room, and that is discussing how the Tigor AMT CNG is like to drive. And first impressions, it's not honestly any different than any other regular AMT that we've driven. But let's start with what this transmission feels. Now, AMTs don't really have a very good reputation, especially Tata AMTs. They're known to be jerky, not very quick. But in this case, I have to say, like, Tata's got the tuning of this AMT bang on. The shifts, they're pretty smooth. They happen right when you want them to. It's not the fastest gearbox, but it never leaves you hanging. And I think that makes it a very comfortable gearbox to use in the city or even on the highway for that matter. Although when you're driving on the highway, one chink in its armor does shine through, and that is that when you just put your foot down and want the car to make like a quick overtake and you want it to downshift 2 times, it generally does not do that. It will only downshift 1 time. So the downshift, when you want it to be aggressive and maximum, that is something that does not happen specifically in CNG mode. Now, we've also driven this car in petrol mode for a decent amount of time to see what the difference is like. And in terms of transmission duties, the difference is pretty much nothing that you'll really be able to realize. It just feels like in the CNG mode, the transmission just likes to shift a tad bit earlier, even if you're aggressive with the throttle pedal. Now, how does the engine respond to CNG? Now, previously when I had driven the Tiago CNG and that was a manual, the difference in between the petrol and the CNG modes was almost negligible. It was very difficult to find out, to experience that difference. In the case of the Tigor AMT CNG, that is not the case. The difference, if you switch between petrol and CNG, it's not night and day, but it is definitely something you'll be able to make out. But saying that, it's not like that the car is slow. It works. It's decently quick. In petrol mode, you get a bit more torque all throughout the rev band, so it just gives you a little bit more punch. It's for times when you really want your car to respond quicker to your inputs. So in that sense, the CNG mode, it's calibrated really, really well. But you do notice the difference when you're driving on CNG and on petrol mode. Now, apart from that, obviously, it gets all the bells and whistles that Tata has put on other CNG cars, and a lot of car makers are also now offering that as an advanced single ECU for both petrol and CNG. It allows the car to do a lot of things. The single ECU can compute everything that's needed for the engine. It also allows the car to start on CNG, and that is pretty much what's new with the Tigor CNG AMT. Now, apart from the addition of this AMT transmission to the CNG variant of the Tigor, not really a lot has changed, and that is a good thing. It's a 4-star rated car by Global NCAP, so we know it's a safe car. It drives really, really well, stable at highway speeds, comfortable over bad roads. Cabin is not the most spacious, but it is definitely spec'd well. You've got a nice touchscreen out there, you've got all your bells and whistles. The one thing I would have liked on this car is cruise control. That is missing. If I was nitpicking, I would say I would want telescopic adjustability for the steering as well. But overall, the experience of driving the Tigor is a comfortable one, and it seems like a value for money approach. The Tigor was always a pretty good car. Then got a CNG, became more economically feasible. And then it got an AMT and it became a more comfortable car to drive in general. And overall, all of this coming in at 9.55 lakh offers great value for money proposition. Now the Tigor, it's always had chinks in its armors. The build quality, especially stuff like the panel gaps, it's not always been the greatest. But putting all of that aside, the overall combination, the safety, the tech on board, the way it drives, the comfort it offers, I think it's offering the best of everything out there in one single package. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, share it with your friends. If they're looking to buy this car, subscribe to the autoX YouTube channel for more such cool automotive content. And once again, thank you so much for watching.